when you talk about loss and grief, this always scares the hair out of people, those who have hair in them. Those who have heaven, it scares heaven out of them. Those who have whatever they have, that's what is scared. You see, because if you don't have a hair, so I don't know why people like saying, it scared the hair out of me. So what was hair doing inside you? So when we mention loss and grief, sometimes this scares people a lot, because it's a big thing when it comes to losing someone, losing something. And when we are looking at this loss, we are not only looking at someone dying. We are looking at losing properties, losing a job, losing a friend, losing a relationship, even health, losing health, losing a piece of rad, whatever thing that you have lost, and it was dear to you, or it's something that you felt like, I should have this one for the rest of my life. And then it was like, oh no, I am not there to be with you for the rest of your life. I'm going to leave you for several years when I'm not there, and then you can keep moving. So let's start with the first word, loss. Naomi, when you hear the word loss, what comes in your mind?
Okay, loss can be in different forms.
Yes.
Whereby you can lose something. It is just an aspect of losing something or even losing someone.
Okay.
Absence of someone or something that was dear to you.
Oh, the absence of something or someone that was dear to you.
Yeah.
There's just a separation of spirit and body.
We hear the word loss. The first thing that comes in mind is absence. And with absence, then there cannot be absence without presence. All right? We cannot, the fact that now we are talking about absence, that means that before we talked about absence, we were talking about presence. Let's talk about presence a little bit. So, you tell me, I had someone and I lost them, meaning they were present in my life. All right? Then let's go to this thing you call life. And this person was present in my life. So, when you say they were present in my life, what is this thing you call life? And does this life has an in and an out? So, when you tell me that this person was in my life, tell me, was this person in your kidneys, in your liver, in your eyes, in your heart, in your mind, in your fingernails? And you are very careful when you are trimming the fingernails so that you don't trim them out, Or maybe that's why you are not cutting your fingernails, because you don't want to lose them. So when you tell me that this person was in my life, which is this in life that you are talking about? And when you tell me that this person was in my life, what you're telling me is that this person was in my thoughts. That's all you're telling me. That this person was in my mind. So what we call my heart is just dramas in relationships. You are in my heart. Where? So which part? Left or right ventricle? Or the articles? Or which part? Which part of the heart? So when we tell people that you are in my heart, it's just dramas. Or even we say that you broke my heart. So do you want to tell me now your heart is leaking? Because what's found in your heart is blood, So and then now you should go in the hospital, and then they should tell us, oh, that person has an internal bleeding. Where does the person have an internal bleeding? Her heart was broken by the guy. The guy broke the heart, and now the heart is broken, it has a crack, now the blood is inamwagika kwa tumbo, because there's that breaking of the heart. So when we use the heart, okay, the heart is used to represent love, is used as a sign of love. So the heart itself. But in reality, this heart has no other business. It has emotions, because love, in most cases, when we talk about love, we talk about emotions and feelings. So this heart, its work is pumping blood. It's just a set of muscles that pump blood. But really, it doesn't really pump blood, like no. There's something that we call in physics centrifugal, I don't know, force or something. So it's like a tornado. I don't know whether it's called a tornado. Like, in a chopper, you see the way you have a breader when you're breading something. So these things move in a spiral, So that's what the heart does. So in a zipiga, zinaingia kwa. So it's not like the pumping that we think like now. It's pumping like that. No, it's because if you open up a heart, if you open up a heart vizuri, ukifungua hivi, unaweza ifungua ikae kama kapa, ikae kama nini. So it's, and then uifuge hivyo, then it goes back to its shape. Ukirudisha hivi, inaweza funguka hivi. So it's just a spiral thing. So the blood spirals there. Let's not go into the sinoatrial node things. We are here for the loss now, and we have not lost the sinoatrial node. So when we talk about this person is in my life, purely what we are talking about is this person is in my mind, because there's nowhere else that person is other than in your mind. This person or this thing that you say is in your life, it is purely in form of a thought. Because if today you lost your mind, today you lose your mind, your best half gone. You've maybe seen videos of people who are going for a surgery, and then this person amedugwa ile dawa ya ku paralyze. What is it called? Yes, and that anesthesia. I cannot be able to complete the whole word. Anesthesia, that one. So when that person is put under that, after they wake up from surgery, they have a state of confusion, whereby they cannot be able to tell who is who, especially after. So wanakuja anamwambia, you look familiar. Yeah, I'm your husband. I have a husband. And they are surprised that they are married. This person is saying that my husband, do you know I was married? And now, little by little, they start gaining their consciousness. If you lose your mind today, you lose everybody you know with it. You lose everything you know with it. So everybody we say we know, and everybody we say is in our life, that person is in your life in form of a thought in your mind. Because there's the Eliud me, the Eliud little me, and there's the Eliud Joyce knows, there's the Eliud Naomi knows, there's Eliud Phoebe knows, there's Eliud Teresa knows, there's Eliud Moy knows, and there's Eliud that everybody who we have ever interacted with knows. If you invite 100 people who know me here, and you give them a piece of paper and you tell them, okay, tell us about Eliud, tell us who Eliud is. After you collect those papers, you'll be shocked because you ask them, guys, are you okay? I told 100 of you to tell me about Eliud. The only thing I see common in these papers is the name Eliud. Nothing else. So everybody would tell their own story about who I am. So then that tells you that who I am is not to you. Who I am to you is a perception only personal to you. It's an individual perception. You have created an Eliud somewhere in your mind. All of you have a different perception of who I am. And so that person that you say is in my life, that the one in your life, the one that you call is in my life, is a version personal to you that you have created about that person. So you have 5 kids, and these 5 kids, you have a version of each in your mind. And the version of these 5 kids you have in mind has nothing to do with the reality of who they are. Because when these kids are, the 5 of them, they are most likely going to disappear from your their presence is going to disappear from your life, probably when they are around 20 years. At around 20 years, it's very rare to find the child interacting very closely with the parents. So they go to college, university, and that's the end of the day. That's the last time you see them very close to you. So they're coming, now home becomes a tourist attraction scenery. So they come to visit. They only come to visit for 1 day, and they are gone for a whole 1 year. They come for 3 days, they are gone for 3 years, especially now maybe in case they are outside the country or whatever. So the perception you keep in mind is the perception of a 20-year-old who left your house. So even when they are 40, you still have the perception of the 20-year-old. You'll be like, my son is very kind, my son cannot even hurt a fly. Lakini after alitoka kwa mikono yako, this guy has broken hearts. He has been very ruthless, breaking hearts of girls. But you are like, my boy cannot even hurt a fly. He has been hurting more than flies, human beings. My boy cannot steal. This guy has been stealing. My boy cannot, my girl cannot. I know my daughter. You don't. The daughter you know is the daughter who was 20-year-old when she left your hands. Between 20 and whatever age she is now, you have no idea who that person is. Because the version of them you have in your mind is not the same person they are. When you tell me that this person is in my life, the thing you call life is mind. And it's a very big tragedy in this world that there are so many people, when they say my life, they are referencing to their mind. Because someone can tell me, what do you do? What do you do for a living? I do nursing, I do biology, I do chemistry, I do business, I do this, I do that. That's what you do. That's what you call life. So when you ask people exactly what they call life, if everybody was to present a research paper on themselves, on what they actually call mind, or call life, you'll be surprised that all that people call life is the content of their mind, is the content of their knowledge, is the content of what they know. And if you think all there is about life is the content of your mind, then you are very lost. Because now what you're telling me, and this is the question that I always ask people, okay, fine. Because I have asked you, tell me about your life. And all you've told me is your name, where you come from, your parents, your careers, your life experiences, and even your life experiences, they are all contents of your mind. Memory. Even what you call past is also part of your, because most people, and that's what we are going to find out, the reason why most people are not able to move on, let me use the word move on, but I like using the word move forward, more than move on, when it comes to loss and grief. The reason why most people are not able to move on after losing someone is because of the memories. Always that. And the way we shared great moments together. I remember when he was kissing me in front of everyone, and that was very sexy, that was very cutesy, that was very demure, that was very... I remember when we went into this place. I remember even when I was giving birth, he was always there for me. I remember how he used to surprise me. I remember. So people mourn memories, not the loss of the guy. They mourn the memories. So we look at that point where now we'll be asking ourselves then, if this person was just a thought in your mind, and what you are mourning the most, and actually what is preventing you actually from moving on with your life is the memories you had with this person, then you are mourning the content of your mind. You are not able to move forward after losing someone or something because of your mind. So the real guy who is causing you all this hurt, all this suffering, and all this pain is this one. This is the guy who is causing you all this. Because if you woke up tomorrow, tukupeleke pahali tukuweke hivi kwa computer, alafu computer ikuwe inaweza access pahali inaweza tu tuambia factory setting like a phone. If we could access that button, that setting in your mind whereby we can press back to factory setting, would you ever mourn? Do you even have a past? You don't. Do you even have a future? You don't, because to begin with, you don't even know how to talk. We have taken you back to the factory setting. Venye ulizaliwa. Venye tu, the only difference is that now you are mature. Your body is 40 years old, but even you don't know that you are 40. You would go back just like a child and you start behaving like a child immediately. If you are to set you back to the factory setting, we clean up everything and then uact ni kama ndio sasa umezaliwa. You will start crying like a baby. Actually, maybe your first reaction would be crying like a child. And then you start peeing on yourself. You start using diapers on you. You start feeding you because you don't even know what food is. You don't even know how to feed yourself. You see? And now we would start teaching you something. So, the moment you get rid of your mind, you get rid of the so-called life, to most people, you get rid of the so-called past, you get rid of the so-called future, you get rid of all that. Because to most people, life in its totality, past, present, and future, is just the content of their mind, the content of their thoughts. So now, there's this person who you say that this person is in my mind or is in my life, and now what we call life is the mind, is the memory. The fact that you remember this person, tells us why you are mourning. Because what people fight the most, which is funny to me, every time that someone comes to you and they are hurting, whether it's a breakup, whether it's a loss through death, whether it's whatever it is, kind of a loss. So, Eliud, I didn't want to forget him. You know, they want to forget. That's all they want. It's true. If actually you can be able to forget that person existed, there's nothing to mourn. Mourning is gone. And that's now why sometimes most people, when they lose someone, they'll get themselves buried in work, others drugs, unfortunately, others into the service, in the bracket religion, serving God. Most people actually run to that, especially the Christians. So after they lose their loved ones, now every Monday dia anaenda anafagia kanisa, dia anafagia kanisa, dia anapaga viti, dia anapaguza, yani amekuwa all over in the church service. And then everybody is like, wow, now you're getting closer to God. You see now the way you are serving church, the way, no, this person is suffering. They are trying to run away from the reality. And now they are hiding in church in service, you know. And now you think now the person is getting closer to God. No, this person is not getting closer to God. They are getting further away from what they are running away from. You know, there's two sides of the same thing. So every time that you are running, there's always something you are running away from, and there's something you are running towards. Most people confuse running towards when it comes to loss, and especially now when it comes to this aspect of service. People think now you are getting closer to God. No. Even when you are doing all this service, you are not even thinking about God. You think about what you are running away from, not what you are running towards. You see? So this is where most people learn. They become alcoholic, they become drug addicts, they become very active in service in groups, not necessarily even church, groups, community, at nini, huyo mtu ako kila pahali sasa. You know? And people celebrate that very much when I say, hata afadhali hivyo Mungu alichukua bwanake. Unaona siku hizi venye anatumikia society. That husband was the barrier. That husband was the barrier to that woman serving God. Unaona siku hizi venye anaserve pesa yake yote siku hizi kanisa, pesa yake kusaidia maskini, pesa yake kusaidia watoto, pesa yake time kila pahali mkutano sasa ni chairperson, ni chair nini. You see, that husband actually ndio maana Mungu amemchukua. That's why. That God took that person because that person was the barrier to this person serving God. No. The person you are saying is serving God does not even care about God, does not even remember there is a God. This person is trying to run away from the loss. When we are talking about presence, we go back there. We talk about presence in life, and we have discovered that to most people, presence in life translates to mental content, the mind. And now, if someone only existed in your life as a thought, if someone only existed in your life as a thought, did this person really exist in your life now, as you call it? If what you say as the presence in my life is a content of the mind as a thought, so did this person really exist? Because our thoughts are very slippery, they are very tricky. Right now, you are all thinking about something, which is most likely not what I'm talking about. I know you. So there's someone here, ndio anakumbuka, kia nani niacha kama nimezima fridge. Hizo zimeharibika zote. There's someone who was like, what? Sasa after hapa. I said, it's actually take how wrong by the way. So there's what you are thinking. There's what is going through in your mind. So over 90%, it will surprise you that over 90% of the things you are thinking about right now most likely don't exist. Maybe. Because I don't know what you are thinking about. It could be 90, it could be 20, it could be 30%. But believe me, most of the times, majority of the things you think about don't exist. Right now, you're thinking about your fridge. The refrigerator uliacha kwa nyumba. That's what you are thinking about. Labda immediately after ulitoka, hivi kwa gate, wezi walikuja, wakaiba na wakaenda nayo. Saa hii inapigwa bei ya kutupa, a throw away price. Lakini wewe kwa akili yako unaona fridge kwa kitchen ilishaibiwa. So now you're thinking about your refrigerator in the kitchen. Does it exist? Is it in the kitchen? Ishaibiwa. Just like the way right now you would be thinking about your room, the clothes in your room, the things in your room, lakini hujui venye tu ulitoka 1 hour ago kuna moto ilichomeka hapo na simu yako iko silent. People have been trying to call you. Haushiki simu, wakwambia nyumba yako yote imechomeka. Lakini here you are thinking about sijui nguo ziko wapi, kuna sijui vyombo chafu nimeacha kwa sink. Hakuna ni ash. Everything right now as we are talking is ash. Only until you receive a phone call. Hi, Mama Brian. We are sorry to inform you that your Brian died a week ago, and we have been trying to. A week ago, the morning starts there. So which Brian has died? The little Brian died 1 week ago. The Brian who have died today is the Brian in your mind. Okay? So the Brian who has died today is the Brian in your mind, not the little Brian. The little Brian in China has been dead for a week. A whole 1 week, and you have not been mourning, and you have been very busy living your life like nothing has happened. But your Brian, the little Brian, has been a morgue for 1 week. Only after receiving the news. So no sooner than, literally, did you know that your Brian has died, then you started mourning. That moment, the Brian who has died, at that very moment, is the Brian in your mind. Now, the Brian in your mind has died right now. But the little Brian died 1 week ago. So now, which Brian are you mourning? The Brian in your mind. So the Brian in your mind is the one you are mourning. And so that tells you that my Brian only existed in my life as a thought. And that's the best we can do as human beings. Everybody in your life exists in your life as a thought. And that's why we use the word exist. The word exist means to come out of, to exist. To exist is to emanate from, to come out of, to stand apart from. That's the word exist. The other day I was telling people that human beings exist, but God does not exist. Human beings exist and everything else exists, but God does not exist. Why? Because God did not come out of. Because God did not emanate from. He did not exist. So to exist is to come out of something. You know, to start aside from something. To come from. So people only exist in your mind as a thought. Just that. So then when you go into mourning, you are mourning your thoughts. You're not mourning the death of the little person. You are not mourning because the person has died. The person died a week ago. Just like today, maybe you have a friend, very close friends, but you have not been in contact for like 1 year. And then one of the days, another friend of you tells you, hi, how are you? It's been 2 years since we met. Why didn't you come for the burial of so and so? What? He died? And then you start crying. 1 year down the line. Now, that's for a friend. Let's go to someone who lost, in reality, they lost their loved one. It's 1 year ago. And this person is still mourning. Lost my husband, lost my wife, lost my child, lost my this, lost my that. 1 year ago. But you're still mourning. So then we need to ask ourselves, why are you still mourning 1 year after the person died? Does this person die every day for you? Like every morning you wake up, oh, my husband is dead or my wife is dead, and then now you start mourning. So does it mean that this person dies every day for you? Or the day they actually died, is it that you took a screenshot of that moment and now you have been holding on to that screenshot or that video clip of that moment of the actual death, and now you have been replaying that video clip in your mind, or you have been reviewing and rewatching that screenshot of that moment? Or is it that in reality you are mourning something that's an illusion? You are mourning death, which actually did not happen. Now those are the questions that we get to ask ourselves and answer today. Now, we are talking about presence, and we need to understand that the person we think is in our life, that person exists in our life as a thought. And so every time we mourn our thoughts. You are mourning the content of your mind, the content of your memories, the content of your thoughts. So I tell people, if we mourn death, actually in reality, if we actually mourn death, any death should cause you mourn. But when it's your brother, you are even fainting. When it's your child, you are fainting. You are not really because if we mourn death, then every death should put you in mourning. Every death, whether it's the death of a mosquito, whether it is the death of a tree, or we can focus about the death of a human being. So any human being dying should automatically push you into the mourning mode. But we don't. We only mourn the death of people we are Attached to. We only mourn the death of that which we are attached to. If there is no attachment, there is no mourning. No attachment, no mourning. So then, are we mourning death or are we mourning attachment? And now when we are mourning, it's not now attachment, it is now what we call detachment. Yes, it is the attachment that existed, but now we never used to, we don't cry because of the attachment. In reality, we cry because of the detachment. Because when there was attachment, we used to have the best days of our lives with that person when it was in form of attachment. But now because we have created another idea in mind of detachment, I'll no longer see them again, I'll never hold hands with them again, I'll never hear them speak again, I'll never. Okay? And before I forget, I hear that a lot. What hurts me the most is because I will never hold hands, I'll never see them again, I'll never hear them again, I'll never, And again, I ask people, do you know that someone can fake something for quite some time? Now, what if what you heard them say was actually not real? What if that person kept feeding rice and feeding rice? Let's now take in the case of a husband. Your husband was only with you because alikuwa anakuhurumia. Was having pity, alikuwa anaangalia sasa kiu nikimwacha akia nani. Sikata kufa. Lakini kuna other women out there. You don't make him happy. You don't give him anything. He gets everything he wants from other women. But for 10 years, he has been faking to little love you. But love ilikufa kitabo. The guy even doesn't care about you, but he is like, I don't hurt people. I'm a good person, and I don't want to hurt her. You see? So I'm really going to pray along. Act like I love. Bring flowers. Listen to conversations. Hold hands. Go for outs. Go to Masai Mara. Go to India. Do this. Do that. Tell her nice things. For the last 10 years, this guy has been acting. And you are missing an act. Yes? And now the guy is dead. And now you are telling me, I can't believe that I will not hear him talk again. He was not even genuine about what he was talking about. The guy was acting. So what you are missing was not even real. But to you it felt real. It was not real, but to you it felt real. So to me, everything he did, everything he said, it was very real to me, and that's what you miss. So you don't miss what he was doing. You are missing your perception about what he was doing. Flowers were brought you, like, it's not romantic, he doesn't care about you, he doesn't love you. Those flowers were for someone else. But that's what you miss. So, when now you're talking about detachment, and you are missing something that was being given by someone, and there's no way you can prove that actually whatever they were giving out of love or out of pity. Pity, whatever. They were giving out of pity. You have no way of actually clarifying that the love they were giving you, they were giving because they want or because they had to. Unajua ni mama watoto. Unajua sasa tumeoa sasa na unajua mimi ni pastor. Au unajua mimi ni chairperson kwa kanisa na unajua sasa God does not like divorce. So the guy has been stuck around in your life. Not because he was interested in staying around. Because he didn't want the thunder and the lightning and the rage of God, being poured upon him because of divorce. Well, God hates divorce. So that's why I've been with you for the last 20 years, not because I like marriage, but because God hates divorce. So, and then now, that's the person you're missing, and you're missing everything they were doing. But they were not really doing because they wanted. No, I just had to. Sasa na tushapata watoto watano, unaenda wapi? You have 5 kids. So where are you going now? I have to go home. Every evening I have to go home to someone I don't like, to someone I hate, to someone I feel like dying when I see them. But that's because of the kids, I have to go there. Because I'm a Christian and God hates divorce, I have to be there. Because I want to protect my image in the society, I have to be there. So now, you are missing someone who was with you out of pity, whatever. Out of pity, out of God hate divorce, out of we already have 5 kids, where am I going? That's the person you are missing. And now, we need to understand that when we talk about attachment, now that we are walking that step of realizing that the person only existed in our mind as a thought. So the person you are attached to, let me say that. The person you are actually attached to is not the person who died. No. You cannot be attached to a person, a real person. You can't. You are attached to the version of them in your mind. That's where you are attached to this person in your mind. You are never attached to your husband, the real one. You are never attached to your boyfriend, the real one. You are never attached to your child, the real child. You are never attached to your mother, the real mother, or a friend, the real friend. You are never attached to them. You are always attached to the version of them in your mind.